Super. Super. So our first performer of the night is the youngest performer of the night. As most of you know, my job is I'm a piano teacher, and Ananda grew up in the womb, meters away from lessons every afternoon. And when he was born and grew up, he was more interested in playing the lid of my piano than the actual keys. So I had to put special stoppers on so that he wouldn't, hurt his fingers by slamming the lid down. And there was one time where he was finally just toying around with the keys. So I came over and I thought I'll show him a little piece. And then he said, "Daddy, stand back." So I thought, okay, I'll wait a little more. And I waited, and then a few months ago, he suddenly asked my wife Vijaya, "Mummy, do you think I could have a proper piano lesson with Daddy?" So she told me, and I said, "Yes, of course." So that evening, we had a gap between students, so he came and had a proper piano lesson. And I gave my wife my studio policy with my cancellation policy. And asked her if she was sure she could afford my fee. So Ananda's going to play a little song, a duet for teacher and student. It is called Charlie Chipmunk. Maybe while we have the piano mic'd up, maybe I'll do a piece next. I want to play a piece by Chopin. Sometimes people ask me, how many hours of practice do you do a day at the moment? And the answer is zero. It's been zero for years. I teach, and life has other priorities. I only practice if there's a performance or a reason to. And for the last 8 years, 8 years ago, I had a performance with, I won a competition, and the prize was to play a piano concerto, which is a piece with piano as a soloist and the orchestra accompanying it with the Ealing Symphony Orchestra. Ealing is a district in London. And so I spent a whole year learning this huge piece for it and flew over to England and performed it in 2008. No, not 2008, 2018. Yeah, 2018. And I haven't learned any substantial piece since then. I've done some performances, and usually I just, dust off pieces that I learned when I was a student or before, or play something simple that I can just read and play instantly, but I haven't really had a reason to learn something new. So I have a student who is a teenager and is very serious about the piano and wants to be a professional pianist and wants to apply to the conservatoriums. And he was learning this incredible piece by Chopin, and it really inspired me. I could teach him and get him to play well, but I hadn't played it myself. and it inspired me to learn it. I wanted to learn it too, and I thought I could perform it for Guru Puja. This would be an opportunity to, for the first time in a long time, learn something new. So I did my best in between nappy changes and. It's cool. Sorry? So this is called Ballad Number 1, and a ballad is actually comes from literature. You know, literary ballads. They're sort of old epic poems with rhymes. And think of things like the Iliad and the Odyssey. These big epic ballads. So when Chopin wrote this ballad, that's sort of what he's coming from. It's a big epic piece that feels like a big epic adventure, like the Ramayana or something, or the Mahabharata. There's heroic bits, there's tender bits, there's drama, there's everything. And I thought instead of just playing it, I thought I might just start by just playing little bits of it and talk you through some bits and then play the whole thing. I remember when I was a teenager and a student, I had this amazing, wonderful teacher. And I would go into my lesson, and she was always running late. She was teaching the previous student for like 20 minutes, beyond the start of my lesson, and then my lesson would run late. And it was always so inspiring to hear these pieces and hear her talk about, work on them with the student and point out things and encourage them to do different things. And I want to share that with you. So this starts with a big grand opening, like the narrator saying, this is a story about who knows what. The introduction, and then we have our first theme, which I think is a little bit ominous. Chopin is what's considered a romantic composer in the 19th century. And this style of classical music, especially this style of piece, you're supposed to be very, very flexible with your timing. You're not supposed to play it rigidly in time, like the Mozart I played before, which, it's rigidly in time. So, for example, you accelerate a little bit when the music is going towards a climax, and then you slow down at the end of a phrase and let the music breathe in between phrases. Let me play you that extract again, as if I was a good student that played perfectly in time. Very different, isn't it? But if I take time. I want you to notice how the bottom note, we call that the bass note, is always changing. Later in the piece, we have lots of things that happen, and then we come back to sort of this section, but he changes it a little bit. The bottom note, all of a sudden now, just stays the same, this sort of ominous call, a bit like destiny knocking on your door. Knock, knock. Knock, knock, and see how that changes the mood. ominous. I want to show another section. You have these chords. And what he does is that he puts a low note first and then does the chord second. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. He makes it feel more emotional. And then on top of that, instead of playing that note plain, he does the neighbor. That's a clash, and then it slides into place. We call that a slur, and it's supposed to be very expressive. T, dissonance, and then it slides into place. T, it's supposed to feel like a sigh. You're supposed to play the first one louder, and then the second one softer to create the illusion that one note melts into the other. Then he does the same with the right hand, but instead of a 2-note slur, he does a little loop around the note. Again, but more dramatic. And then he goes a bit nuts. I'll demonstrate another little passage. Then we have the you could call it the love theme. In all types of music, most often notes are either close together, the same note, or one note away, maybe 2 notes away. But big leaps in music are often very expressive, and there's an extraordinary leaps there. Da, 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 and then a big leap of an octave. Da, yeah, that's 8 notes. Da, 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 dee, leap, da, 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 and another one. That makes it feel very, very like yearning for something higher. And then later, this same melody comes back, but in a heroic version. Etc. And I'll just do one more little part, then I'll play it. We have a very special moment in opera. Often there's often a section where, say, the heroine, the female character, or even the male character, they have, there's all this stuff happening and people and people conversations and singing to each other, and then everyone leaves and there's just the main character on stage, just peacefully, and they sort of, sometimes it's like in the chapel, and then the main character has a little prayer, to God, has like a prayer scene, or sometimes they're just talking, but it's a sort of very intimate scene, and they're sort of talking about their hopes, and I think this feels very like a prayer, this section. It's a little bit like my teacher. She sometimes would put words that she would just make up on the spot to some of the things I was playing to sort of get you to get the right idea. So she might have said something like this. Oh, I love him so, and I think he loves me. Will he marry me? And will we have lots of cute babies? Then this is all in the major key, and then he goes to the minor key. But what if Father doesn't agree? What if he goes to war? Then you get worried. And then that very same theme comes back later in the piece, right before the dramatic ending. But instead of the left hand doing a little thing and then silence, and then another little thing in silence, this time it sort of drives, and it's got a lot more momentum and energy. And to me it feels like, before the tragic battle, the hero and his, lover, they have a final moment together before he has to go to battle. And then we have final chaos, and maybe it's like a battle of some sort. Etc. So I'll play it from start to finish. Chopin's Ballade No. 1.